In this lecture, we are going to find out the electric potential due to uniformly charged shell. So in the previous lecture, we found out the electric potential due to a charged disk, and in the previous lecture before, we talked about the electric potential for the case of a circular loop. So in this lecture, we are going to find out the electric potential due to uniformly charged shell. So in this case, we will have a sphere and only the surface of the sphere will be charged and the inside of that sphere will be hollow. So only the charge will be present on the surface of the sphere. So let's say this is the sphere that we have drawn over here. So the surface of this sphere is charged. So you can say it is a charged shell. So inside the sphere is hollow. So there is no charge present inside the sphere. The charge is present only on the surface, and let's consider sigma as the surface charge density. So surface charge density is the charge present in unit surface area of this shell. So in unit area, if you take a unit area on the surface of this shell, the charge present on that particular area will be equal to sigma. So that is how we define the surface charge density. Now we are going to find out the electric potential at P point. So this is the observation point. So this point is at a distance of x from the center of this shell. So this O is the center of this shell, and O is also the origin of the coordinate system. Towards this direction we have the x-axis, and in the vertical direction we have the y-axis. So we will also have the z-axis over here. So this is a three-dimensional picture. Now we are going to find out the electric potential at P point, which is at a distance of x from the center of the shell. Now the main procedure to find out the electric potential will be to divide the surface area, to divide this whole shell into small circular loops. So here I have drawn one loop over here. So we can divide the whole surface of the shell into infinite number of such circular loops. So this is the front section of the loop I have drawn, and this is the section of the loop on the back side of the sphere. So we can divide the surface of this whole shell into infinite number of such circular loops, and the radius of every circular loop will be different. So you can also draw a circular loop over here. So the radius of that loop will be greater than that of this circular loop. Then if you can also draw a circular loop over here, so the radius of that circular loop will be less as compared to the radius of this circular loop that I have shown over here. So now we are going to find out the electric potential at P point. The main criteria will be, first of all, we are going to find the electric potential due to this circular loop. So first of all, we are going to find electric potential at P point due to this particular circular loop that we have drawn, and then we will integrate over the whole shell. So that will give us the total electric potential at P point due to this uniformly charged shell. So R, capital R, it is the radius of this shell that we have considered. So R is the radius. So to find out the electric potential due to this elementary ring, so the whole shell can be divided into infinite number of such elementary rings. So now we are going to find out, the first step will be to find electric potential at P point due to this particular circular loop that we have drawn, that is due to this particular elementary ring. Now let's consider the radius of this elementary ring that we have drawn. Let's say the radius of this ring is equal to small y, because let's say this will be the radius. So radius is nothing but the distance from the circumference to the center of that loop. So that will give us the radius of that loop, and this length, it is parallel to the y-axis. So let's consider this radius is equal to small y. Now in the second diagram, I have shown only the front section of the elementary ring. So here I had shown the front section as well as the section which is on the back side. So here I have shown only the front section of the elementary ring. Now the radius of the elementary ring is given by small y, and capital R is the radius of the shell. So the distance from the center of the shell to this point on the elementary ring, that will be equal to capital R, as well as the distance from the center of the shell to this point will also be equal to capital R. So these two lengths that I have drawn, they will be exactly equal to capital R. Now let's say this angle which is made with the x-axis, let's say this angle is equal to theta. So this small angle between these two lengths, between these two radii, this small angle, let's say, is equal to d theta. Now theta is the angle which is made by this length with the x-axis, so that is theta angle. Now this small angle that is made at the center, that is equal to d theta. So we will get a structure like this. So we have two lengths capital R, so two lengths each equal to capital R, and we have a small section over here. So that small section, this small section, it gives us the thickness of that elementary ring. So this small length, it gives us the thickness. Now what will be thickness from this diagram? So this angle we have considered equal to d theta, and this is capital R, and this length is also equal to capital R. So what will be this length? So we will use the property of an arc. So we will consider this as an arc of a circle, and the angle which is subtended by this arc on the center, that is equal to d theta. So we will use the property of an arc which says that d theta will be equal to length of the arc, let's say that is L, divided by the radius which is capital R. So from here we can find the length, or you can say the thickness of this elementary ring, that will be equal to R into d theta. So this thickness of the elementary ring will be equal to R into d theta. So now we are going to find out the electric potential at P point due to this elementary ring, and after that we will integrate over the whole shell. That will give us the total electric potential at P point due to the whole charged shell. So first of all, in the previous lectures we had seen that if we have a circular ring, so we have only circular ring, so we are not talking about a disc that we had seen in the previous lecture. We are talking about a circular ring in which the charge was present only on the circumference. So in that case we found out the potential at any point, that was given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So this was the formula of finding the electric potential due to a ring, so that we have done in the previous lectures. So the electric potential due to a ring, it comes out to be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into the charge on the whole ring, let's say that is dq, divided by the distance of the observation point from the circumference of the ring. So this distance there was considered to be equal to x, and the radius of the ring was considered to be capital R in the previous lecture. So you can go through the previous lectures. So this distance is equal to capital R, which is the radius of this ring, but in this case the radius of the ring is equal to y. So instead of capital R we will be using y in this case. So the electric potential due to ring, it comes out to be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into total charge on the whole ring divided by the distance. Now here we have r square plus x square power 1 by 2. So we have r square plus x square power 1 by 2, that gives us nothing but the hypotenuse. So we have divided this whole fraction by the hypotenuse, which is nothing but equal to mp length. So that is r square plus x square power 1 by 2. So this was the formula that we had seen in the previous lectures, that gives us the potential at any point due to a ring. So here also we have divided the shell, the uniformly charged shell has been divided into infinite number of elementary rings. So first of all we are going to find electric potential due to this ring on this observation point. So first of all we want to find the charge on this elementary ring. So the formula that we are going to use is the same. So we will use this formula where in the numerator we have the charge on the ring. So in this case also we will find out the charge which is present on this whole elementary ring. So that will be equal to dq and divide by this distance mp. So let's say this point is equal to capital M. So we will divide by this distance mp. Now we want to find the charge on the elementary ring. Firstly, we will find charge on this elementary ring. So this whole shell is given with sigma as the surface charge density, that is the charge present in unit area. So first of all, we are going to find the area of this elementary ring, then we will multiply the area of this elementary ring with sigma, so that will give us the charge on this elementary ring. So first of all, we want to find area of the elementary ring, and that we can easily find out. So this circular ring, if you cut this circular ring from one point, so we just want to find area of the elementary ring. So the trick to find area of the elementary ring is very simple. So you can cut this elementary ring at one point, and then you can expand this ring, so it will be approximately the same as a rectangle. So when you will cut this elementary ring at one point and then you stretch it, so you will get a rectangle whose thickness will be, this is nothing but this thickness of the elementary ring that we have already found. It is equal to r into d theta, and this whole length of this rectangle will be equivalent to the circumference of the ring. So we have just cut this elementary ring from one point, and then we have stretched, or you can say we have elongated the ring. So that length, this whole length will be nothing but equal to the circumference of this ring, and circumference of the ring, or you can say circumference of a circle, is equal to 2 pi into the radius. So we have 2 pi r, but in this case the radius of the ring is supposed to be y, so the circumference will be equal to 2 pi y. So this whole length of the rectangle over here will be equal to 2 pi y. So the area of the elementary ring will be equal to nothing but area of this patch, or you can say area of this rectangle, and that will be length into breadth. So we have 2 pi y into r d theta. So the area of the elementary ring of this particular elementary ring will be equal to 2 pi y. So y is the radius of this elementary ring which we are talking about, into the breadth, which is r into d theta. So in examination you do not have to draw this diagram, so directly you can write the area of the elementary ring equal to this expression. So you do not have to do this, is just in case you forget how to find out the area. So in examination you directly write the area of the elementary ring is equal to this expression. Now in this diagram, y will be equal to r into sine theta. So this is the angle theta, and this is the radius capital R. So this perpendicular which is equal to y, so that will be equal to r sine theta. So y will be equal to r sine theta. So you can find it out in this triangle, in this right angle triangle. So if you find sine theta, that will be equal to perpendicular over hypotenuse. So hypotenuse is equal to capital R. So y will be equal to r sine theta. So from here the area of the ring will be equal to, instead of y we will substitute r sine theta. So you will get 2 pi y. Instead of y you will have r sine theta into r d theta. So this is the area of the elementary ring. So that will be equal to 2 pi r square sine theta into d theta. So this is the area. Now to find the charge on this elementary ring, the main motive is to find the charge, because in the numerator of the expression of potential, in the numerator we have the charge on the ring. So we want to find charge on this elementary ring, that is dq. So that will be nothing but equal to sigma into the area of the ring. So sigma into area is 2 pi r square sine theta into d theta. So this is the charge on the ring. Now potential due to a ring is given by, so potential due to this elementary ring will also be given by this formula. So we will have 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into dq. So instead of dq we will write 2 pi r square into sigma into sine theta into d theta divide by r square plus x square power 1 by 2, that we have already said is equal to mp. So in this case it will be equal to mp. So we will divide it by mp. Now the task will be to find expression of mp. Then we will substitute over here. So we will get the potential due to the elementary ring at P point. So now to find mp, we will look into this triangle. So this is the center of the sphere, this is the point M, and this is the observation point P. So this is also the origin of the coordinate system as we have said over here. So this is the origin as well. So this OM vector is the position vector of M point. Similarly, OP vector is the position vector of this observation point. So in this triangle OMP, in this OMP triangle, if you consider this MP vector is pointing from M point towards the observation point. So in this triangle you can write OM vector plus MP vector will be equal to OP vector. So you can use the triangle of vector addition over here, that OM vector plus MP vector will be equal to OP vector. So this is the equation that you will get in vector form. So from here you can find MP vector. So MP vector will be equal to OP vector minus OM vector. But in the expression of potential we need to find magnitude of MP. So here we have magnitude. So we want to find magnitude of MP vector. So to find magnitude we will do the dot product of this equation with itself. That is, we will do the dot product of the left hand side with the left hand side, and we will do the dot product of right hand side with the right hand side. And keep in mind that OM vector and OP vector, they are making an angle of theta with each other. So OM vector and OP vector, they make an angle of theta with each other. So MP vector, it came out to be equal to OP vector minus OM vector, and now we have done the dot product of this equation with itself. That is, MP vector dot MP vector is equal to OP vector minus OM vector dot product with itself. So we will evaluate it. So this is a vector whose dot product we have done with itself. So that is nothing but equal to the square of the magnitude of the vector itself. So that will be MP square, and this will be equal to OP square. So you will open the dot product, you will get OP vector dot product with OP vector, that will be equal to OP square, and you will get minus of OM vector dot product with minus of OM vector. So you will get plus of OM square, and you will get minus of twice of OP vector dot product with OM vector. So now you will simplify it. OP vector dot product with OM vector, that will be equal to magnitude of OP vector into magnitude of OM vector into cos of angle between these two vectors, and we have already said the angle between OP vector and OM vector is equal to theta. So MP square, from here MP square, it will be equal to OP square plus OM square minus 2OP into OM into cos of theta. So from here you can get MP simply will be equal to square root of this right hand side. So you can take square root on both hand sides. So MP will be equal to square root of this whole expression. So from here MP will be equal to, what is OP? OP is the distance of the observation point from the center of the sphere, and that we have already taken is equal to x. So over here you will get x square plus M is the point on the surface of the shell that we have taken. So OM is equal to the radius of the shell. So we will get over here capital R square minus 2 into x into r into cos of theta power 1 by 2. So the potential at P point due to the elementary ring, it will come out to be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into the charge on the ring that we have already solved is equal to sigma into 2 pi r square sine of theta into the d theta, divide by mp, and mp came out to be x square plus r square minus 2xr into cos of theta power 1 by 2. So this is the potential due to the elementary ring, but we want to find out the potential at P point due to the whole shell. So the total potential will be equal to V, that is represented by capital V. So that will be equal to integration of this dV expression. So this is equal to dV. So this will be integration of dV. So in turn it will be equal to integration of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into sigma into 2 pi r square sine theta d theta divide by x square plus r square minus 2xr cos of theta power 1 by 2. So from here 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is constant, sigma is constant, 2 pi r square is constant, and in the denominator inside the square root x will be constant because it is the distance of the observation point from the center, so it remains constant. Capital R is the radius, so it will also be constant. So only variable will be theta. So in this case the variable is only theta inside the integration. So what will be the limits of theta? Now this is the angle theta that we had drawn. This is the theta angle. Now this ring, this whole ring, it can be drawn over here. Elementary ring, it can be drawn over here. So for this ring the theta will be less as compared to theta for this ring. So that theta will be less as compared to this theta. Similarly you can draw elementary ring over here. So for that ring the theta will be even more less, means the minimum limit of theta will approach to 0. So at this point, at this particular point theta will be equal to 0, and as you will move away, so if you take this as the elementary ring, so for this ring the theta will be greater than this particular angle, so theta will be even greater than this. Similarly if you take elementary ring over here, so for that theta will be equal to this, and if you take elementary ring just close to this point, so for that theta will be even more greater, and for this particular point the theta will approach to 180 degree. So the minimum limit of theta is equal to 0 and maximum limit of theta that can approach is equal to 180 degree. So the limits of theta will go from 0 to pi. So these are the limits of theta. Then you will simplify this integration, you will solve this integration so that you can look into the book, into Modern's book. There you substitute x square plus r square minus 2xr cos theta as one variable, then you do its differentiation, so you will solve this whole integration. This is the final result that you will get after solving this whole integration. So the total potential will be equal to this expression. Now inside the square brackets you will get square root of whole square of x plus r. So this whole square and this square root, they can cancel with each other. So this will be nothing but equal to x plus r always. But in the case of this second term, so x was the position of the observation point. So x was the distance of the P point, which was the observation point from the center of the shell, and r was the radius of that shell. So if the observation point is outside the shell, that is x is greater than capital R, so over here you will get x minus r. So over here you have square root and inside you have x minus r whole square. So if x is greater than capital R, means the observation point is outside the shell, then this whole term will be equal to x minus r. But if the observation point is inside the shell, that is x is less than capital R, so over here you will write r minus x. So if x is greater than capital R, you will get over here as x minus r, this whole term will be equal to x minus r, and if x is less than capital R, means we are talking about observation point which is inside the shell, so in that case this whole term will be equal to r minus x, because in that case r is greater than x. So the potential will be equal to potential at P point, that will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So over here you can write it as the potential will come out to be equal to 2 pi r sigma divided by 4 pi epsilon naught x into x plus r minus of modulus. So instead of this square root of x minus r whole square, we will write modulus of x minus r. So if x is greater than capital R, this whole term will be equal to x minus r, and if r is greater than x, in that case this whole expression will be equal to r minus x. So that is the function of this modulus. Now the total charge on the shell, will be equal to, let's say that is equal to capital Q, and that will be equal to sigma into total surface area of the shell. So that is equal to 4 pi r square. So this is the total charge. So we will substitute it in the numerator. So in the numerator we have 2 pi r into sigma. So from here you can find 2 pi r into sigma, that will be equal to, so from the right hand side you will just take 2 pi r into sigma on the left hand side. So you will be remaining with 2 into r. So that will be taken on the right hand side in the denominator. So that will be twice of r is equal to q divided by twice of r. So this is 2 pi r sigma, which is the numerator over here. So we have taken the numerator from this expression 2 pi r sigma, that will be equal to total charge divided by 2r. So we will substitute over here. The potential will come out to be equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into 2rx into x plus r minus modulus of x minus r. So this is the final expression of potential at any point which is at a distance of x from the center of the shell, provided the charge on the shell is capital Q and radius is capital R. So first of all we are going to find out the potential when the observation point is outside the shell. So that is case 1, that the observation point, that is x, is greater than capital R. So in that case this potential formula, it will be equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught 2rx, it will remain as it is, and inside the square bracket this x plus r will remain as it is, minus of this modulus of x minus r will be just equal to x minus r, because x is greater than capital R. So you will solve this expression. So x will cancel with x, and over here you have r minus of minus r, so that will be equal to twice of r. So that twice of r will cancel with this twice of r. So this twice of r that you will get from here, so that will cancel with this twice of r. So the potential at a point which is outside the shell at a distance of x from the center, that is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q, which is the total charge on the shell, divided by the distance of the point from the center of the shell. So this is the formula that we get for the potential at a point which is outside the shell. So that is just simple. It is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught total charge on the shell divided by the distance of the point from the center. Now the second case is when x is equal to capital R. So in that case you will just put x is equal to capital R. So potential will come out to be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q divided by capital R. So that is the potential on the surface of the shell. So x is equal to capital R means the observation point is on the surface of the shell. So in that case potential will be equal to this expression. Now the last one is the potential inside the shell. So when x is less than capital R, so the observation point is inside the shell. In that case potential will come out to be equal to, over here instead of x minus r modulus, this modulus of x minus r, that will be equal to r minus x, as we had seen over here. So this term will be equal to r minus x. So you will simplify it. The potential will come out to be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So you will solve the steps in this case you will simplify it. The potential will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q divided by capital R. So anywhere inside the shell, the potential is constant. As you can see, it does not depend upon the position of the observation point. That is, it does not depend upon x. X is the position of the observation point. So this fraction, it does not depend upon x, means it is independent of the position of the observation point. So the potential at a point, at any point inside the shell is constant. So that is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by capital R. And on the surface also the potential remains the same, but as the observation point is moved outside the shell, the potential, it becomes a function of the position of the observation point. So you can see, as you take the observation point, as you increase the distance of the observation point from the center, that is, as you increase this x distance, the potential will decrease. So potential is a function of x when the observation point is outside the shell, whereas it is independent if the point is either on the surface or it is inside the shell. So in this diagram we can show the variation of potential, electric potential, with the position of the observation point. So if the point is inside the shell or on the surface of the shell, that is when x is equal to capital R, so in that case the potential remains constant. So you will draw a straight line. So this is the axis that corresponds to electric potential. So potential remains constant when the observation point is either inside the sphere or it is on the surface of the sphere. So this value of potential is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by capital R. And as you move outside the shell, so as the distance x is greater than capital R, the potential will decrease, because as you will increase the value of x, the potential will decrease. So there will be a decrease in potential as the observation point is moved outside the shell, and this decrease in the potential is inversely proportional to x. So it is a function of x and it is inversely proportional to x. As you are increasing x, the potential is decreasing. So this, inside the shell the potential is constant, and outside the shell the potential is a function of